Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm one of the horticulture trainers at Box Hill. We're going to look into pruning tools and how to clean and sharpen them today. So we've just used our secateurs. Really important to be cleaning and sharpening in between each use, obviously because we get a build up of sap and also they can rust over time. So we'll start with our secateurs. I use old-fashioned gumption, which I think I remember my grandma talking about gumption as I was a kid. So it's just a pasty sort of product that I put just a dash of water in. And then holding our secateurs like this, we're making sure the blades are nowhere near our wrists, of course, or hands or anything that we can cut ourselves with. So keeping in mind the blade here, that's the sharp part. The anvil, there's nothing sharp on that. We still do clean it though. So with our gumption and just on a scourer, we're just doing sort of circles, just being careful that you don't slip because again, you've got your blade there. So we're just removing any of that any of the sap from the trees, any diseases if you've been pruning diseased plants. Just giving it all a nice, good clean. I'll turn it over in a second so I can get that angle of the inside of the anvil. Turn him over. As you can see, there's a little bit there. You're not always going to get your secateurs as shiny as you bought them, but the main thing is just removing those impurities and sap and just keeping it nice and sanitized. So that's starting to look really good, starting to see nice silver again. I'll just get the inside, again, careful. I know my hand is near the blade, but I'm just being very cautious and very careful. Okay, so I'm feeling that's looking nice and clean. I'll just use my chucks just to dry that off, just to remove your excess gumption. Again, being cautious where the blade is. Okay, so I will give it a lubrication after I've finished sharpening it, just to make sure all your parts and pieces are running smoothly. Okay, so now we've got a clean secateurs. There's so many different types of sharpening blades around. Quite commonly used is a diamond blade, which you can get different grades. So this one's medium, the purple is medium, and then you've got fine. If you're going to use them, I'd use the medium first to sharpen your tool really nicely, and then the fine really just takes away any little burrs and really smooths it over at the end. You can also get, this is a Felco sharpening blade. You can use just that, they're really handy. Any tool shops sell both of these. So I'll start with the Felco one just to give you an example. So as you have your secateurs open, your blade comes down at a 45-degree angle. So we want to put our sharpening blade on that angle, and we're just doing nice little circles. There's no point doing it that way because you're going to basically blunt your secateurs. There's no point doing it flat because you're not sharpening anything. You're just touching the top of the blade. So 45-degree angle, nice little smooth circles, keeping it on the angle the whole time. And just going right from the inside to the end. You can do it a couple of times. Like that. And quite often just once or twice going over it will give you a really sharp finish. So same with the diamond blades. I'll start with my medium. You can get coarse as well, which I don't use, but they're fine. You can use all of them. And again, doing those nice circles. Your hands are nowhere near the blades. You're not going to accidentally slip and cut yourself. You can go back in as well. So that, and then you use your fine blade just to take off any of those sort of imperfections or burrs you can get sometimes. So I feel that's nice and sharp. I don't have any with me, but a really good way to test your secateurs if they're sharp is just grab a piece of paper, and if you can cut cleanly through it, you're nice and sharp. Okay, so now we've cleaned, we've sharpened. The last thing that I do, this is a Felco brand spray, but you can use things like WD-40, that's fine as well. Just on any of the silver parts, just a little quick spritz. Any of your movable parts as well, so your hinges there. Again, it's like WD-40 that it just is basically loosening, lubricating. It does protect from rust as well, so more longevity for your secateurs. Obviously get good quality secateurs. If you buy cheap secateurs, you'll find that you replace them often as opposed to a good quality set that once every couple of years you might replace the blade. They're all interchangeable pieces on these. So as opposed to cheap ones that you basically have to throw out because they just blunt so easily and they don't sharpen very well. after a bit of use. So it's really important to look into good quality tools. It might be a little bit costly, but it's worth it in the long run. You end up saving money down the track. All right, so secateurs, nice, clean and sharpened. Loppers, we do exactly the same. So same way that we cleaned our secateurs. So basically the same thing. You've got your anvil, nothing sharp on that, and then your blade. And you've still got that 45-degree angle on the inside that comes down there. So with cleaning your loppers, it's exactly the same as your secateurs. So we get our scourer, clean all the sap off with gumption, and then sort of a wipe down with the chucks, and then using your sharpening blades, 45-degree angle, exactly the same. So lastly, we'll hop onto our pruning saw. So this will have a lot of sort of sawdust and that from where you've been working. This one's a nice and clean one, which is great. So with your saws, you're not going to be sharpening your blades, because if you sort of look at the fine teeth on it, you're not going to get your sharpening blades in between each tooth. So with these, we're basically just giving it a good clean down, getting rid of any of that sort of sap, if there's sap, and the sawdust. So I'll just move that. So pretty simple with your saws. All I do is get methylated spirits. Careful that we don't spill it on the ground, because you end up losing a lot of your product. So I just give him a wipe down, like that, and then I just do the top. And we've still got sawdust in the teeth of the saw, so that's where our toothbrush comes handy. And all you're doing is just brushing out that sawdust there along all the teeth. And then just do on both sides, because you'll find, as you can see, some parts are dropping. And that way we've had methylated spirits on our saw. It's nice and sanitised, nice and clean. Give him one last little shine, and then back into his case. So they're our sort of main pruning tools that have all been cleaned and sharpened. They're ready to go for the next use. So that's us for cleaning. Thanks very much.